Good evening, folks, and welcome to another episode of How to Dwarf. Tonight we are going to be going over the basics of making farms. Now, this map, as it stands, is not an ideal farming map. Well, mostly because farms have a couple of requirements. And that requirement is that you have to be on a dirt floor, which could be either sand, peat, loam. There's a dozen different types of dirt in Dwarf Fortress, and they can all be found in the wiki. Or it has to be on muddied rock, which is done through a bit more of an advanced technique called irrigation. First, I'm going to go over just making a standard farm plot, which you would do with normal soil. So, you go under buildings, you go under farm plots, which is defaulted to P, and now you must place it. Now, I'm going to error out here when placing inside it because I have a rock floor. But you can just change the height, change the width, blah, 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 blah. But once we go outside, we now have usable farm space. And we will resume and let one of our farmer dwarves get to him, I think. If we have a farming dwarf. Yes, we do. Okay, so now we go under Q. And still being constricted. I'm being impatient. Okay, now he's done. Q. And now we have a full status menu of what the farm can do. So, this is an outdoor farm, so it's going to get a lot of different varieties than what an indoor farm would have because it's now got the above ground flag. So let's see what we're going to choose for in spring. I got no seeds for anything, but let's say these ones it can plant. Now you may see something called seasonal fert. That is for fertilizing specifically for a specific season. And just above that is fertilize, yes or no. And it can be fertilized up to 5 times to increase yields. Hitting fallow will clear any of the plant selections for that month, and now that means season. Now you need to make sure that you specify every single season you want to grow something with the commands for of A, B, C, and D. Well, let's see. So let's say I want to grow alfalfa in the summer. In the spring, I will grow some celery. Now, if we switch between the two, you see alfalfa highlighted up there and no longer celery highlighted. I've had more than one fortress go into a booze spiral because I wasn't producing booze all year round. Now, fertilizer is a great early investment in microforts or forts where you just want to have as few dwarves as possible because it will increase the yield, and you can do that by making potash. I will not go over the production for at this time. Now, if you want to... Now, since I can't make any... Why is it removing my designations? Now, since I have no soil inside, I have to do irrigation. Now, how do you irrigate? Well, there's a few different ways to do it. First one is constructing a mega project. Either you divert a river, you divert a lake, or you breach aquifers, or use pump stacks to draw it from the caverns and just let the water come out and evaporate, and voila, you got your mud. All I just need is a light dusting of mud. It doesn't require any sort of depth to the mud. Now, but the most basic way is to set up zones and pits. So, I'm going to go into designations here. I'm going to channel down into this rock here. And let's watch that get to work. Actually, in the meantime, we can set up something else. So first, you need to set up a zone, hitting the I key there, and you need to designate a water source. Fortunately, I have a small little pond up here that I can use for it. There we go, 27 tiles of watering source. So we activate water source. And now we need to wait for our channel to be finished. This is annoyingly slow without DFhack installed, so I can teleport things. Wonderful. Now we need to create a second activity zone, and this one is going to be called a pond. So we now cover it up like so. And it is active. Good, good. And now we need to set it to P, pit/pond. And then we need to use capital P to designate whether it is a pit or whether it is a pond. We are designating it as a pond. Now, assuming you got buckets, your dwarves will go down to the water source, like this one's doing, take a bucket full of water, bring it down there, and he's going to splash it. Now, the key thing is the zone for the splashing has to be a Z level above where you're making the pond. And see, now we got a dusting of mud on that one tile. So in theory, can we build on slopes? I forget. There, B, P. No, can't build on the slope. But as you can see, we're starting to get a splattering of mud in multiple areas now. And I can build a 1x1 farm plot away from the ramps. Yay, dusting of mud. I only have one bucket, so this is going fairly slow. Now, it is important to keep an eye on this because they will eventually try and make this entire hole here filled with a 7x7 in depth of water. And you do not want to do that, so you'll want to turn that off before it goes above 3x3, so that way the water can properly evaporate. Now, potash, there's an optimum use for potash, and you'll want to take a look at the Dwarf Fortress wiki for the optimum farm plot sizes. I want to say my personal favorite is to use 3x5, as if memory serves me right, that rounds out to 0.25 units of potash used per square, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, it was a nice round number, if I remember right. But obviously, the bigger the farm plot, the more efficient the potash use. Anyways, I think this is a good point to conclude the farm tutorial on and getting your dwarves nice and fed. I will see you next time.